So today I am being like a robot zombie. This was the closest filter I could find to like for robot zombie. Cause it's kind of like it. But that's what I feel like you have to be. Like you have to be a robot zombie to function in the paradigm that we've created. Like just work a day, like, you know, and but this, I found this video clip here that kind of sums up the Matrix so eloquently. Oh my God, oh my God.
A powerful species on the planet would be to completely divide them from the love within themselves. As soon as they are old enough to begin creating an understanding of who they are, force them into a system that teaches them that it is wrong to be yourself if yourself is different from what is accepted as normal. Confuse them about their own biological makeup so that they think that permanently altering their body is the answer to happiness. Require their daily attendance at an institution that makes them focus only on the information that is provided. Make them attend that institution from age 5 until an adult and repeatedly test them on the information so that it becomes their truth. Give them an explanation to everything so that they never have a chance to make their own assumptions of the world. Scold them and humiliate them if they suggest an opinion that opposes that of their authorities. Keep reminding them of how cruel their ancestors were to each other in the past and broadcast how cruel they are to each other in the present. Only show them tragedies on the news so that they live in fear and think the worst of one another. Convince them that their species used to be that of an incognizant wild animal. Make them think that their very existence is so incredibly random that they lack purpose and struggle to make sense of a creator. Tell them that their kind is as smart as they've ever been so that they don't question the integrity of the system that they're in. Provide them idols with artificial beauty and use them as examples of what it is to look perfect so that they are never content with their own appearance and can't help but to compare themselves amongst each other. Create addictive digital platforms that rank them by numbers so that they base their self-worth off of the amount of followers that they have and are never satisfied. Build a society around them in which those who have money benefit and those who don't fail. Make money their main focus, but make it so difficult to accumulate that they remain in a place of constant struggle, forced to dedicate the majority of their time to the system that made it this way. Tax them in every way possible, but tell them that it's for their own benefit so that they don't think twice about paying it. Take so much of their time and energy throughout the week, but give them 2 days to themselves so that they feel a sense of reward and don't fight back. Promote the consumption of poison in every social setting so that even on those 2 days, they remain disconnected from themselves and each other. Pump their food with excess sugars and addictive chemicals, but make it cheap, advertised, and easily accessible so that they never stop consuming. When their food makes them ill, prescribe them medication that only masks the symptoms so that they become dependent on it every day. Charge them so much money for healthcare so that they stay in a constant loop of consuming, medicating, and working. Cause chaos amongst them and blame it on a group of their own so that they form judgmental stereotypes. Turn them against each other in so many ways so that even if they were to connect on one, they would still be divided by another.
Oh my God. And the channel's even called Matrix Unplug. Oh my God. That was just so poignant, like, and just was speaking 100% facts, which is why I'm picking this robot zombie filter, because it's like, just like we've become robot zombies conditioned to be part of the Matrix. And like this whole paradigm we've created, it's like fucking insane. I mean, really, if you stop and think about it, but they make us so busy chasing jobs and money and dollars and status and whatever kind of bullshit thing we think we're supposed to need, that we forget that it's totally insane. They're already charging us for like basic human rights, like housing and water and healthcare, which I think those should be basic human rights. They're going to start charging us to breathe in a minute, and I'm just waiting for it. Like, you've breathed in a certain metric ton of blah, 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 oxygen, blah, 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 or whatever. It's only a matter of time before they start charging us for a monthly fucking breathe air bill. I'm just saying, okay? So now I'm an alien watching some other aliens. This is a clip from the Brent Pella Instagram channel. I follow that. It's funny. He's funny. And these alien dudes are funny. Like, I love these alien dudes. But this clip is talking about the absurdity of the paradigm that we've created. You know, and like, if aliens were looking down upon us and thinking like, what the frick? I'm just saying, it's insane. We've created this, we have everything we need here on Earth, but we've created this whole paradigm where we're depreciating everything, filling our landfills and like polluting the earth and all. It's like going into debt in the process. It's absurd.
You want to know what I found out the other day?
What do you found out the other day?
Did you know the entire Earth is $315 trillion in debt?
Whoa.
Yeah. What? Who do they owe money to?
Bro, who are they getting money from?
It
What?
blows my mind that first off, you have everything on the planet here to live for free.
You literally have everything you need.
And then you invent a system
Uh-huh.
creates a deterioration of your own resources.
You created
What?
a store of value that's literally storing less and less value
every day.
Every day.
And you're increasing your technology, and yet somehow you still owe money to someone, and it's $315 trillion. There's not enough paper to print that much cash.
Insane.
What are they doing?
What?
Earth is like the worst meme coin. It's the worst.
They got rugged.
Gotta try to figure out how to get out of the matrix, man. How do you get out? How do you get out of this whack, absurd paradigm that we've created? Now we're all like running around trying to catch up with our debt. No one can afford housing anymore. People are like, humans aren't procreating anymore. There are no more babies. The civilizational decline, or like a population decline. Duh. If you can't even afford a place to raise, children, why would you have them? If you're just running around like a chicken with your head cut off, trying to pay bills and make ends meet, how the hell is getting a kid involved in all this? And, and then like, there's like all these people in like third world countries maybe having excessive kids, but they're all living in squalor and poverty. I don't know. And there's enough resources on the earth that everyone can have a basic, decent, freaking quality of life if we reallocated the resources properly,
And that is the best way to allow all of us to flourish as much as possible, is to provide us with firm foundations from which to build our lives. Built his house. But now I see these foundations as financial. And that is enough money to cover our basic necessities, a roof over our head, food on our table, heat and light for our home, before we earn extra money through paid employment. Because that's the idea I want to share with you today. That we shouldn't have to work just to survive. Now I know what you're thinking. And it was actually emphatically articulated by a so-called social media troll last time we did this, back in November. And that is, why should I listen to some posh bloke? But for those of you who are skeptical about this idea, I invite you to consider this with me. Because if work is just about survival, just about putting food on our table, just about getting a roof over our head, or even just about struggling to make it to the end of the month, week, or even day, then it's very difficult for any of us to look beyond that. For it is only when we can look past the question of what do I need to do today to survive, that we can ask ourselves, what do I want to do to live?
True dat. True dat. Oh my God. I'm being another robot, because that's what you have to do. You have to just work, robot, like zombie robot, just work, keep profit everywhere, profit. And now they're building artificial intelligence in order to make just insane amounts of profit and totally making humans obsolete. It's like, oh my God. Like, I mean, I'm hoping, optimistically thinking, I don't think it's going to happen because they think people are too greedy. And, they're going to just greed, because you can see all the greed. Just like profit for everything, like ads everywhere to make profit, to sell some stuff, profit, ads. I'm just saying, okay, that's what our world is now. We're just bombarded with ads and just bombarded with just that we're not even valuable anymore because we're, now computers and AI type things are just totally taking everything over. And the humans that could actually accomplish a certain level of robotic capacity, like coding and programming, now they're becoming obsolete. I'm just saying. And what are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to make a living? All of us profit for like 2 people on the upper echelons and 1%. Like what is like there's no wisdom in any of this. Like this quote unquote, they're so smart, these smart people. They don't have any wisdom. It's like all about just intellectual prowess, just to there's no like insight or wisdom or recognizing the fallout of some of these new technologies, and just greed based, I don't know, man. But anyway, this idea I like because people could, if we have our basic needs met, we can focus on so many other things. We can still create a capitalistic structure, but it's not the predominant. We can still make things that we can sell and make extra money beyond having our basic needs met. But we would be able to think outside of just survival. That's what I feel like. I'm just always in survival mode, and I'm just waiting for when they're going to start charging me to breathe. I mean, things like water. Do you know the abundance of water and the abundance of food and just things that we can grow in the land, and we can create. I mean, there's so much abundance, but we just, I don't know. We just make these innate dumbass products that we don't even need. We have hijacked everyone's psyche to think that their ego structures need all this shit, and then they get bored with it after 2 minutes and it ends up in a landfill. I'm just saying, I feel bad for people that have so much greed because they're lacking the inner abundance, which is what all these spiritual teachers are trying to show us and teach us, like Christ and Buddha. The kingdom of heaven is here on earth, but it's within us. That was what Christ was trying to teach us. The immeasurable treasure we have within. So all these poverty-stricken, ironically rich people accumulating all this, hoarding all this wealth and material sources at the cost of everyone else. That's not a sustainable model, And they're poverty-stricken. They're like hungry ghosts. Nothing's ever enough, And I don't know. I just feel like this paradigm can allow people to breathe and start thinking about what they would love to do, and so many people could focus their energy on doing things that would benefit the world and benefit others, and create a more stable structure, a supportive structure that we can live by, instead of just everyone just barely surviving.
A perfect storm of factors which are suddenly making the advocacy of a basic income almost mainstream. For many years, people like myself were regarded as mad, bad, and dangerous to know. Communist, idealist, utopian, you name it. A lot of rude words were thrown in our direction. You can encourage people to spend more time in activities like care, like voluntary work, like doing the things that we all want to do, instead of chasing the next euro and following a doctrine of jobs.
True dat. I agree with these TED Talk mofos. Okay, this guy is Guy Standling. Okay, I agree. Oh my God, it's so true. Like all these jobs, just just sit like robot zombies in cubicles. Oh my God, I spent so much of my life in a cubicle. It's from hell. And also another thing that I'm witnessing, especially as I'm getting in my middle ages, people having to take care of their parents. And there's no time for it because we got to run around like chickens with our head cut off to fucking pay our own bills. And then we've got a parent that's just gone AWOL, you know, like my dad, he has early onset dementia, but and he's still stable in his house, and we have someone coming in to check on him 6 days a week essentially, but he's still very autonomous and can dress himself and can do all this. But he's starting to act progressively. I mean, his is slow onset, thank God, but it's like you can see him just start acting progressively more weird, you know, and doing weird ass shit. And so he doesn't need to go into a home yet, but I don't know. It's nerve wracking though, because I don't have the luxury to go freaking just completely upend my life. And it's I'm watching my cousin take care of her mom. She's still got a kid in high school, and she's taking care of her mom who's so literally so demented that she attacks people and shits in garbage cans. And my cousin is so stressed out. She's on all these meds, you know, needing to reorient her meds. She's trying to navigate her mom's meds, you know. And she's she's so stressed out. She's actually forgetting to go to work. She's having to go to the hospital. She had to go to the hospital a couple of times because her nervous crazy. I don't know what caused. She had these emergency things where she just had these, just passed out, you know, vomiting. I don't know, just crazy stuff because she's so stressed out. And she literally forgot to go to work. And she's binge eating just food that's bad for her because she's so stressed out. She's got this whole calendar management for all these people that have to come and take care of her mom, you know, because she's got to go to work, you know, and she's still got a high school. Dude, we don't even have the paradigm that we've created where just individuals have to just be robots, zombie robots that just work to just make someone profit at work and profit. We don't even have the luxury to be able to care for people, even new moms, you know. They get 2 weeks or something before they have to go in the office? It's fucking insane. And then I feel like that has larger sociological impacts on people, you know, when they didn't have certain type of emotional structures and needs met in their early years, because the parents just weren't there because they're just working all the time. I mean, these kind of dynamics have larger sociological impacts and stuff. So I'm aligned with this guy because it doesn't say people can't make more money, can't start their own business, but at least just the basic needs are met for all individuals, you know. And, you know, so that they can focus on things, they can have more time and space to focus on things that, you know, are important. They can volunteer. They can have the time to take care of elder parents or newborns and toddlers and stuff.
It's an idea that could unite politicians from the left to the right in fixing our broken social security system. It's an idea that could give dignity to millions and accomplish what we should have accomplished long ago, especially in our rich and wealthy countries, eradicating poverty. But first, I have to be honest with you. It's actually not my idea. No, in fact, it's the idea of this man, Thomas Paine, who sadly wasn't able to make it today. Because, well, he died 200 years ago. But it was also the idea of these guys. Some of history's greatest thinkers. Now I can hear you think, what kind of idea could unite men so different, such as the civil rights campaigner Martin Luther King on the one hand, and the free market economist Milton Friedman on the other hand? What kind of idea could unite thinkers so different, such as Thomas Paine, who thought that the government is the solution to most of our problems, and on the other hand, Friedrich von Hayek, the Austrian economist, who said that, well, the government is in fact the problem most of the time. What is this idea that goes against the spirit of our times, right through the old political divisions between the left and the right? What is this great idea, this utopian idea that so many of history's greatest thinkers have been dreaming about for centuries, yet which has failed to come true so far? Well, some people call it the citizen's dividend. Other people call it the basic income. Now, I like to call it free money for everyone. Now, that sounds good, right? I know it obviously also sounds like a utopian fantasy, something that will never come true, especially not in our lifetime. But I want to remind you beforehand, utopias have a tendency of coming true. Just think of how the end of slavery, equal rights for men and women, and democracy, they were all regarded as impossible ideals once. But in history, there is something called progress. So let's start with a simple, basic question. What is the basic income? Well, it is a monthly grant, enough to pay for your basic needs, food, shelter, education, that's it. Now, some of you might ask, don't we have this already? Isn't there something called social security? Don't we have the welfare state? Well, yes, but the basic income is something entirely different.
I also think that health care, just basic health care,
Place, it's universal. So everyone would get it. Whether you're a billionaire or a beggar, whether you're a man or a woman, whether you're employed or unemployed. The basic income is a right as a citizen of your country. Moreover, it's also unconditional. So you'll get it no matter what. No one's going to tell you what you'll have to do with it. No one's going to tell you what you have to do for it. The basic income is not a favor, but it's a right. Just like, for example, the freedom of speech is a right as well.
I agree with him, but I do think that if someone's, like I said before, if someone's using their basic income for drugs and ending up homeless, I do think that there has to be some sort of guidelines to make sure people use it for its intended purpose, because, you know, I don't know, like that would be just enabling a severe drug addiction.
But most importantly, in the past few decades, in the past 30 or 40 years, it has become more than just an idea. Free money for everyone is more than just an idea nowadays. It has become a proven idea. As you can see on this map, there have been experiments, this map is from 2012 by the way, there have been experiments all over the world, and especially in the south. From Mexico to Brazil, from South Africa to India, researchers and governments have experimented with giving people free money. Time and time again, they have shown that free money results in, well, lower inequality, lower poverty, obviously, but it also results in less infant mortality, lower healthcare costs, lower crime rates, better school completion records, less truancy, higher economic growth, better emancipation rates, and all kinds of other positive social outcomes.
So now I'm being silly. I'm an apartment. I'm a house. You can see my jacked up tooth really pronounced here. This is genetic. This is a little punk ass little bitch tooth. It's literally trying to run out of my mouth. Anyway, but this, I'm a house, because I really do feel like this is the solution that we really need to consider in addressing homelessness, because even if you don't get rid of 100%, you're going to drastically cut it down.
Homelessness is often considered a problem that doesn't have a solution. But there is one country that may have found it anyway. Finland has developed a unique strategy for getting homeless people off the streets and back into the society, and it aims to completely eradicate homelessness by 2027. And although Japan still has technically the lowest homelessness rate, the Japanese success is actually quite questionable, while Finland has been praised again and again for its results. So how did Finland manage to do it? And why aren't we just doing the same thing everywhere else? This is how Finland solved homelessness. Finland is famously the only country in the European Union where numbers of homeless people are actually significantly decreasing, and have been for several decades. And it's not like other European countries are not trying. They all have shelters, organizations giving out aid, and dedicated national strategies, but most of them, including the UK, Germany, or France, still see their numbers going up rather than going down. So what is Finland doing differently? Well, as they say, if you want average results, do the same thing as everyone else. And if you want unique results, you have to use unique methods as well. And so the Finns have turned the traditional approach to homelessness on its head and committed to a radical strategy that became known as housing first. Basically, there is usually a reason why someone ends up homeless, whether it's because of mental illness, drug addiction, because they lost their job, or something else. But the idea behind how most countries approach homelessness is that the person living on the street should start by sorting out those problems first while living in a shelter, and only after that they can get access to permanent housing. This has been called the staircase approach because the homeless person is basically expected to gradually move up through different levels. They're expected to stop taking drugs, undergo mental health treatments, and if they make progress, they can move on, with the permanent housing as a final reward. But the problem is that this approach is not actually very effective. Quitting drugs or managing serious mental health issues is already difficult when you have a home, and it's basically impossible when you're homeless. In other words, we expect people living on the street to do what many regular people are not able to. And so it's not surprising that most homeless people get stuck on one level of the staircase, as they fail to complete the tasks to move on, and eventually they relapse, get evicted, and go back to the street. So Finland, seeing that the traditional approach was not very effective, decided to turn this on its head and try out something very different. Rather than thinking of housing as a reward for successfully integrating into the society, Finland based its approach on the idea that with a permanent home from the beginning, solving your own problems becomes much easier. And so the state started providing permanent housing in the form of small individual apartments, not as the final reward, but at the very beginning, and to basically any homeless person who asks for it, and without strict conditions. People living in the housing provided by the state are not required to give up drugs or go to a treatment, and they're not evicted if they relapse. They are, however, required to pay a small rent, which means they need to have an income. And they have a very strong support system which they need to take part in. In most cases, the housing is provided in centers with around 100 homeless people living in small individual apartments that are looked after by a team of around 20 on-site social workers. And they provide support with everything from bureaucracy, job hunting, and getting access to addiction or mental health treatments, and they also keep things from going off the rails.
So, and they found that this was highly effective. It's highly effective. And now this particular Helsinki, like you can hardly see any homelessness. This is a kind of form of basic income. And it's, I don't know, I just really feel like, because I've been feeling like the stress of just, just survival, just always in survival mode. And I just, it's like, and I think that's why we're having such epidemics of isolation, demoralization, division. People are just like we're doing everything to like bad diet, bad food. And then we have these like quick fixes, instead of like changing our paradigm around, making healthier options available, and that we just try to solve problems of overeating just with taking Ozempic, which has these possibly long-term negative effects, I don't know. I just feel like we're just doing everything ass backwards. And I just think that, and like all these like tech bros, they think they're so great, and they're so intellectual prowess, but there's no wisdom there. They're not solving world problems, And I do think that would be more impressive instead of, like, I'm just saying, like, even with Elon Musk, like, smart boy, can you solve problems here instead of trying to get to Mars? I'm just saying. But maybe he's given up. He might have given up. I don't know. He might like, humans are, just lost. I can't help them. And like, I'm just going to try to get the rich people to Mars. Because that's the only mofos that are going to be able to afford this shit. I'm just saying, even when it's available. Oh, dude, I don't even know. I don't know, just all these tech pros, and they don't even let their own kids play or use these technologies that they've created. It's like really insulting. It's like, and they think they're just, ew. I'm not impressed with them, I'm just not.